think we're live, which is good. Nice thing to have. I'm just going to wait a little bit, wait for some people to join in, and then once we've got some people in, I will start doing some list building. But yeah, for today we are going to be doing some orc list building here. I've got this kind of a spreadsheet up so we can kind of get close to lists. I'm going to probably be making a list like 1900 points because my list builder isn't like 100% accurate. It's just on Google Sheets. But we'll be trying to figure something out, trying to find something fun to do, and kind of go from there. It should be a good bit of fun. At least, worst case scenario, we can kind of figure out what kind of combinations of detachments we want. I think that could be kind of fun, and like kind of what the key units will be in those. And then next week, when the app gets updated, we'll go full in and go for some stuff. I've also got TTS open, so once you start building these lists, we can actually kind of visualize them a little bit in TTS. So I've got the FTC kind of like list builder up there as well, so we can kind of go through that. That should be pretty fun. Hopefully this is all working well, and yeah, I think that's audio's going, everything seems to be looking good. Just wait for some people to jump in, and then we will be on our way. I'm excited for this Orc Codex. I think the Orc Codex is going to be so much fun to play. I think it's just going to be such a good time. Can we do agents list building stream? Hell yeah. Maybe another time, Tate. Maybe another time we can do that. It doesn't sound like a horrible idea. It doesn't sound like the greatest idea either, but like we can do it. Maybe we can do it. Since I will be playing them for NZTC, maybe it's just the way we have to go. But yeah, I guess let's just start, and then people can join in wherever they can. So let's kind of think about, firstly, we're going to be talking about what detachment combinations we think are going to be quite strong. I've got them on this other screen, which is this one here. Look at me go. This one has so I got this tab where I can like kind of put units in. If I put a unit in, so I can put Gasgal. After a second, it will load in, and then we can have that, and then we have like our total points at the top here. Got the points he costs. This isn't perfect because it doesn't have all the variations of points in there, so we kind of do have to like scuff it a little bit, but for the most part it does kind of work, so we can kind of use that. But yeah, I have this set up here so we can figure out exactly what our dispositions will be, as well as what detachments we can take. Notably, if you take Warhorde, you are locked to take and hold or purge because it's 3 DP. Everything else is 1, so you get 3 of these, or you get Warhorde. Kind of wish Warhorde was actually a 2 DPer, so you always got like a one of the, you could add some flavor to your Warhorde, but you don't get that, and Warhorde doesn't seem to be like the way to go. It isn't bad, but it's kind of take all comers and not in the greatest way. Like all the strats are kind of like middlingly strong, not super strong. But yeah, we can go through Warhorde a little bit though, I guess, because I think Warhorde's genuinely is quite good. For the well-rounded, and also probably a good way to understand orcs, I guess. Like it might not be the strongest way to play, but it will be a way to kind of get your head. So for Warhorde, the detachment rule hasn't changed. It's just orc melee attacks have sustained hits. Pretty good. And then the enhancements have changed a little bit. Headwhopper's Kill Chopper is now on when you made a charge move, this character's attacks get +1 AP, but it's only on the character. It's kind of meh. Then we have once per battle in your movement phase, you can rile up a unit, which is basically it's like the boss ability, but on something else, or you can put it on a boss, so a boss can once per game rile 2 units up. It's kind of niche, but also quite good. You'll often have multiple things riled up in Orcs. Then we have Cunning Brutal, which is when this unit is selected to make a fallback move, that fallback move does not prevent this unit from being eligible to shoot and declare a charge. That one's actually genuinely quite strong. You put that on like a mech with a unit of flash kit, so it can advanced shoot, charge, fallback, shoot, charge, like pretty strong, pretty strong. And then follow melee is just +2 movement to the unit. So very like middlingly decent, but like good situational stuff, right? Like none of it's super strong. The +2 movement's probably the best thing there. And then we have like an unbattle shock. We have additional cleave for your vehicles. Orcs unit in the fight phase gets lethal hits. So this is like the non-boys units. Pretty decent. You have fungus fueled injection. Orcs monster vehicle unit is selected to move. That mounted or vehicle unit gets +2 move, so you can kind of get the follow me lads for your monster vehicles as well. Very nice. Like this is weirdly very good on like ranged weapons, like ranged units, right? Because you get like a little bit of Ooh, I do want that up there. There we go. Let's get rid of you. Yeah, like it just adds to the threat projection, especially when you get assault on when you're riled up. So like it really pushes that, like, 10-inch move now to a 12-inch move. Now you get to assault, you get to advance. So you can move 18. Like it's the 16 to 18-inch, like the extra bit of move can really threaten a lot more angles, which is quite good. Then we have Orcs is never beaten. It's a 4-up fight on death. If you're riled up, it's on a 3-up. Pretty good. And then we have, lastly, we have your unit's range checks have rapid fire 1, or if that unit already had rapid fire, +1 to that rapid fire. So very good there. Like pretty good. Like interesting that they've gone for like some ranged and some melee stuff here. So it is trying to be a much more like well-rounded detachment, whereas in the past the War Horde was just a melee detachment. Now it's trying to be the War Horde, like the War Horde, literally just like encompassing everything to do with your like army. So kind of cool, kind of enjoy that. Sustained hits in melee only though, so still wants you to focus on melee, whereas some of the strats want to pull you away from melee. Is kind of like an awkward thing though, right? And this is why I think it's like if your detachment rule only buffs melee, and like it just means that you're not getting any other benefits for your shooting units, whereas like Wreckers 1 DP gives 2 your best infantry units reroll 1s to hit when they shoot something on an objective or if they're on an objective. That's an incredibly good detachment rule when it's 1/3 of your detachment rule, right? I think that makes it quite strong there. Yeah, so let's get on to the next. So let's what are the people's thoughts on the different detachments or the one DPs? What do we want to start with? Do we want to go for a more generalist build? Do we want to go for something that is a bit more melee orientated, shooting orientated, alpha strikey, vehicle orientated, mounted orientated, like colder speed kind of style stuff? Go for a horde. I think starting with the horde could be quite fun. I think maybe even like a the hunt horde kind of style list could be pretty fun. So if people are interested in that, I think that could be kind of cool to kind of dive into. So until someone says otherwise, that's what we'll start with then. So let's go with that. Sorry, I'm just going to get this up and going. Yep, beautiful, cool. Great. So then for detachment wise, then let's go with what are the best combinations for horde. So we probably want green tide in there. Let's go for a green tide, which is taken hold. Then maybe the big hunt so we can get some of those pretty good. The beast dagger units now are like slightly better, so the big hunt's pretty good. And at the moment we're locked into either taken hold or purge. So our third can be a flex slot to get a different disposition, but I think taken hold's probably where we want to be if we're playing an orc horde anyway. So I think we can probably go tactical brigade here, which I did a video on, like what I thought this combo of 3 will be quite strong. The other option you could do is go shooter boys, but then you also got another purge option, which like shooty purge is okay, and I think that could be quite strong because I think boys actually just shoot like a crazy amount now for what they are. So that's what we'll start with, and then we'll just kind of go from here, and we'll see what kind of combos we have. So with this combo, Green Tide gives sustained hits to your orc boys in so to boys units, apologies, which I believe Beast Nigger boys are now boys as well. They have that keyword. Let me just check that. Make sure I'm not spouting any lies. This is going to be a very chill stream, guys. Like, I'm just going to be going through this stuff. I have kind of a list of a bunch of the changes, so I'm just searching through those until I find the correct one. Let's have a look. See, do you have keywords, inventory, battle line, beast nigger, mob? So no boys keyword there. Unbelievably rude. So looks like these Stinger boys don't get the sustained hits from Green Tide, which, to be fair, it's probably okay. But, you know, we do like it when our boys get stuff. So yeah, looks like there isn't a buff to boys units being attacks have sustained. So yeah, so your boys themselves get sustained hits, and then every other infantry unit on the charge gets lethal hits non-monster vehicles, which does still really help your Beast Nigger boys. So that's what the Green Tide gives us. And then we also get a couple of decent strats here. Your boys unit, you can get +1 attack in the fight phase. Pretty good. So you go 3 to 4 attacks. Notably now that rolled up doesn't give you plus attacks. Still quite good there to actually still get that volume through. Study your battle shock step of your command phase. 1 friendly Orcs infantry unit, 13 plus models. Select 1 visible friendly Orcs unit, 12, which that unit's battle shock rolls are automatically successful. Awesome. So you can auto pass battle shocks when you need them. Like, being able to consistently do that is pretty good. And then here we go. Is your unit gets +2 to advance rolls. Is Beast Nigger or boys? Beast Nigger boys or boys unit. So that's pretty good there. So enjoy that as a bit of a combination. So being able to get that extra bit of movement there is pretty strong. So we got some extra lethality and some extra damage there. So we be liking that. Then next we have the Big Hunt. And let's just bring that up, because I want to make sure I get none of this wrong for you guys. So Beast Nigger units, so for the Big Hunt, we get friendly Beast Nigger units attacks that target a monster vehicle unit have +1 AP, which basically means all the Beast Nigger units AP goes to 2 when targeting monster vehicles, which is like where you want to be. I think AP2 actually is a pretty strong place to be when it comes to fighting vehicles. Like AP1 doesn't feel very good, but like AP2 into the 3-up save vehicles, which is predominantly the vehicle armor save, means that now when you're on 5s, which means you are getting through with most of your attacks. Pretty decent. And this is all Beast Nigger units. So this is the Kill Rigs, this is Squig Hog Boys, Beast Nigger Boys, all of them get this. Then we have a couple of enhancement, which is Glory Hog. When this unit is selected to make a fallback move, that fallback move does not prevent the unit from being eligible to charge, so you can get fallback and charge on a unit. And Beast Boss on Squigosaur has this model has +1 toughness. So you can have a slightly tougher Beast Boss on Squigosaur as well. And then we have there's a strat to force hazardous rolls, which is pretty decent, especially on vehicles. It becomes quite good, especially on the bigger units. Then we have goaded into action, which is any unengaged Beast Nigger unit that lost 1 or more wounds, you can Blood Surge. This is pretty crazy and pretty powerful. So this is one of those ones where I think it's going to be absolutely obnoxious to deal with for your opponent, where all your Beast Nigger stuff can, like your Kill Rigs, your Squig Hog Boys, can all Blood Surge, like potentially Blood Surge, so you have to play around it everywhere if you're going to target them when shooting. Pretty good. And then the last one is you can put an unengaged Beast Nigger unit within 6 inches of a battlefield edge, put them into reserve. So this is like quite handy that you can be able to deploy them and you can like lift them off late game to do stuff. Pretty good actually. That's a pretty decent suite of rules for Beast Nigger boys. And then the last one is Tactical Brigade. This one just gives Storm Boys battle line, and then Boys Commander Storm Boys units can fall back and declare a charge. So quite good there. That becomes notably like quite powerful. We have the enhancements are really a nothing burger here. You can give like commandos and store boys level hits on monster vehicles. You're going to have that anyway because all your infantry get that on the charge, so you don't care about that. And then the other one is you can give a big mecha war boss infiltrate and stealth. Fine. And then we have a couple of decent strats here. So you have sticky objectives for boys, commando, storm boys. You have advanced fallback and action for a command point, very situationally very strong. And then into your opponent's movement phase, if a unit fell back from one of those, the 3 main keyworded units, you can make it a normal move of 6 inches. This will probably be changed to the timing that it's when they make their fallback move. If you're not engaged, then you can fall back. You can reactive move. Pretty good that it's flat 6. Pretty very good in this kind of situation. So really rate that. So that's kind of the idea here. Is you have tactical brigade for a bit more utility, making sure that you're always being able to action. Boys naturally can action and in combat now as well. So you're able to action in so many facets of the game with the strat. You can fall back and charge with all your boys. You have you have stratagems and enhancements to make your beast snagger stuff do that. Beast snagger stuff can surge. So that's kind of the idea here. So let's go into what we need to do to what units do we think are going to be strong here. Now this list, I'm not even sure if it wants Gaz. I think it just wants more volume of stuff. Gaz is pretty good because the +1 to hit, +1 to wound aura becomes pretty nice. But the fact that you can't string units out in 11th edition as much makes him and he isn't that durable realistically. Yes, he's got low knot, but if you get within 12 inches, he kind of can just die. And since we're not playing Runt Swarm to give the Gaz kind of safety bubble trick, we don't get a whole lot out of it. So let's go into some units then. And you guys can see this, right? Yeah. Let's start with, we definitely want a war boss. And I don't think we really need any enhancements here. So we'll chuck on a war boss. We do want, let's just go for the boys first, eh? The boys and beast snagger boys, I think is what we want. So let's go for a unit of boys. Go for the big unit. Let's just grab a couple of those to start with, because I think we probably want 60 boys and then beast snagger boys for the rest. I think that's probably the kind of order I want to, the volumes that I'm thinking of. It might end up being that we actually go for more beast snagger boys, but this is kind of where I was thinking to start. Then we go for some beast snagger boys. Come on, where are we? Beast snagger boys. One, there we go. Updated. Beast snagger boys. Beautiful. So that's already 100 boys right there. And that's 1,000 points with the war boss. So we still have 1,000 points to work with. That's 980 points there. We're doing pretty well for ourselves right now. And we have a good amount of volume. So let's get some characters to attach. So we have a war boss that could attach. I'm actually kind of thinking that the war boss stays unattached for most of the time. Yes, he doesn't actually give anything to the unit that he's attached to now. He's just he can rile up units. But he does that even if he's not attached. So he can kind of just be like a lone character that sits in the back, rolls stuff up and sends things forwards. So I think that's kind of probably the direction you want to go. You definitely do want beast bosses as well. And I think we want a beast boss for both units of beast snagger boys. So we'll probably go for 2 of these bad boys, because they still do give the +1 to hit to the beast snagger boys here. So we like that. And then they also have a different rile up strat, which only works for beast snagger units. So I think having 2 of these guys is also just going to be quite valuable. Making it so they hit on 2s is genuinely just quite good. And let's find where these beast snagger boys were again. Yeah. So the beast snagger boys melee, you can have the chopper standard, which is just 3 attacks at 5/1/1, hitting on 3s, which will be hitting on 2s. Or you can go hunter, which is 3 attacks hitting on 3s, 6/2/1. and it's a hunter monster vehicle. And then for the before selecting, so it can only target. So yeah, so you become, so you'll be AP 3 against monster vehicles with the Beast Snagger boys. That's pretty crazy. Like that's pretty, like you are pushing through damage into monster vehicles and hitting on 2s, getting lethal non-monster vehicles from Green Tide. So you're kind of good both ways, right? Like you don't get the stacking buffs there. Maybe we add a kill rig to this and another 10-man just kind of free Beast Snagger boys purely so then one we have something in the kill rig, but the kill rig's psychic power to give +1 to wound comes in really clutch here, being that strength 6 Beast Snagger boy with being able to get like hitting on 2s and then getting, you know, AP3 with +1 to wound, wounding most vehicles on 4s then from 5s. Pretty strong. So maybe we do that then. So let's go even further down this rabbit hole. Let's go for another Beast Snagger boys unit. And we'll go for a kill rig. I'll just click these and then I can get the points for them in a second. Inconveniently, these things aren't in any solid order. Let's go for a small unit of them and a big kill rig. Yeah, kill rig psychic powers are quite good. Also, kill rig very strong with the surge strat that the hunt gives you. So I think this is kind of like a nice kind of place to be. We don't want to go too heavy into the vehicle side of things because all of our detachment buffs only do non-monster vehicle stuff. So we really want to be focusing on that if we can. So we still have 600 points left. So we have heaps of points left. I do think we want some trash. So let's grab a couple of units of Storm Boys. Let's see if I can find them. See if I just type them. I'm just going to move my mic. Storm Boys, there we go. Let's grab a couple of units of Storm Boys. 2 units of Storm Boys. Just cheapos. Just to make sure we have some action pieces here. Make sure we can like play the game. Because we really do want to be able to do that in this and this, even though we'll be playing take and hold, so let's just maybe say take and hold. Yeah. Let's just go and take and hold for this army. And so what do we want to go for next? So we have units to rile up, so we can rile up a unit of boys every turn with the war boss, and we can rile up a unit of the Beast Snagger stuff with the beast boss. So that kind of works quite well. It's a good kind of, we can get 2 things into the wire every turn, and then we call wire, everything has it. Pretty good. I think we do want some amount of ranged kind of utility piece, whether that be like a unit of tank busters or something along those lines, a unit of flash kits. Flash kits are very strong. Flash kits will be in a lot of the lists, so I'm also kind of tempted to not have them in it. Also, like an ingress threat could be quite good here. So we could do like the Nazdrag Mega Nob unit. It doesn't get a lot of buffs here, but it does get the lethal hits non-monster vehicles. But it's also just a really good deep striking unit, and it's fairly tough. We could go for some more utility. Let's actually figure out what we're going to attach to these boys units first. Like what characters do we want attached to them? So we probably don't need another war boss because his rule is redundant at this point. We could add a big mech to one to give them ignores cover and then sustained hits, and then you can pop once per game +1 to hit. So you can be hitting on 4s with those boys with just a bucket load of shots. Can be quite strong. I think we'll maybe do that for the shoot. If you did the shooter boys version instead of the tactical brigade version, you'd probably do that because the shooter boys have a 1 CP strat for +1 AP. So you can just make all those boys AP1 and just flood damage down the board. We'll definitely be making like a shooty tide list because I think that'll be very fun. So what else are we thinking of here? What else could be interesting and good? Could use a unit of knobs with a character. Breaker boys, I think, could be kind of interesting. Getting the lethal hits there is also quite good. Broker truck squig buggies, I actually think are genuinely quite strong. I think the fact that you can take them in units of 2 for like 130 points, and you get effectively 12 plus 2d6 shots hitting on 4s at like 512. Like it's pretty good volume. Like genuinely think that could definitely be something. We could get a battle wagon to start some of the boys in, so we have something to be safe. Battle wagons, now that they are a -1 damage and fairly cheap as well, could actually be kind of interesting here. So that gives us 2 kind of big vehicles to start our boys in, so we're not trying to worry about all of it being trying to be hidden because we can't hide 100 boys with hidden. So I think that could be pretty interesting as well. It's fairly durable itself. And yeah, that could be quite interesting. Can hold one of the 20-man boys units. I think we definitely do want a weird boy for one of the units. So let's just slam a weird boy in one of the boys units. The teleport here is very strong, and then the fact that the other psychic power that they could do instead of the teleport is a reroll ones to hit. Reroll ones to wound, which is like something boys really do need. So that's pretty excellent. The other thing I really like with the boys is if you are going for the more melee side of things, which this list kind of is trying to just blank down the board, is the big bosses now give the ability that is what happened, which is what war bosses used to do, which is +1 to hit the unit in melee. So I think like 1 or 2 units with big bosses could actually be pretty good. So let's go for a couple and just see how this list looks. Did I just this big boss? We grab 2 of those, and they're only 50 points each. Like that's cheap. They have another like damage 2 melee weapon. I think it's AP2 base now as well. Pretty strong. So I think that's kind of where we will be at. Pain boys nowadays just heal three wounds at the start of your command phase. So not like nowhere near as powerful as the 5-bit Feel No Pain. Can still be cute, but nowhere near as cute. They are big bosses. Pain boys and weird boys are all support characters now, so you can attach like other things to them, which is kind of cool. But there's also not that many other things here that I'm thinking I'm really excited to attach to them. So I think we just do that. And I think we do 1 for each. So 2 units, 2 big boss units. Probably one of these units, one of the boys units starts in reserve. 2 other, one with big boss, one with weird boy start on the board, so we can teleport one, turn 1, kind of get an aggressive position if we want. Then we have the Beast Snagger boys as kind of the second wave or our answers to monster vehicles. So we only have 285 points left. And I think at this point, we probably don't want to go for a battle wagon, but we definitely could. But we do want some shooting. So it might just be like a truck and a unit of tank busters, but tank busters not getting any buffs here. It does feel kind of bad. So maybe we just lean into the fact that we can just have quite a bit of actually no, I know exactly what we need. We need the Big Mac Decker rigs. I think just if we can fit 2 of these guys in, I think that will be exactly the answer here. Oh, and look at that. Ooh, it didn't change. There we go. Perfectly 2,000 points. That is quite excellent. I think this is pretty cool. So now let's go over to TTS and let's have a look at what this would look like as an actual force. So here, I'm just going to quickly get together all the models that we wanted to have here. So we have a one of those guys. We have 2 big bosses. We have 2 beast bosses. We have, where's the kill rigs? Oh, we have 2 of these Decker rigs. Just because they are good volume. We have 1 kill rig here. And then we just need to get some boys. And notably, the boys do take all the guns now, because the guns only take away your shooter. They don't take away your melee now. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we go for, we get 2 big shooters, 2 of them, and doesn't actually have the models on here for the other guns. So it doesn't super matter for now. So let's just add in a couple more of these just to show the unit. Put it in order. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? So we just need 1 more guy. There we go. Beautiful. Let's put this into a rank. Obviously, this isn't the exact correct loadout, but it's close enough for what we're doing for now. And we have 3 of these, so then we can copy, paste it, paste it. This is just really good for being able to visualize your lists. Let's just keep it aside. And then we have a Beast Snagger unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, I believe you also actually, do you get two knobs? You get two knobs in a 20 man, I think, now. Yeah, so you get two knobs in a 20 man. It's actually quite excellent. So you actually get like a little bit more damage out of these units as well, which is really nice. Beautiful. Let's just copy and paste. And then we also want front half of this. And then copy the back half because we just want another 10 guys. Ooh, right. Just hit back, so hopefully it doesn't go too far back. There we go. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Excellent. Let's just put these over here. Excellent. Move these characters out of the way now. Now, whether you want one of the beast bosses to go with the 10 man or just with the 220 mans, I think the 220 mans is probably correct. And then you have the 10 as like a bit more trash piece. But then we have these guys that get +1 to hit. And this unit that gets the teleport is quite nice. And we have 2 Decarigs just for some extra shooting. We have this guy to put these guys back here. This guy to go start in there with them. Let's see, what else did we have in this? Then we had 2 units of Storm Boys and a War Boss. Beautiful. Beautiful. So grab the new War Boss model because the new War Boss model is absolutely killer. And let's grab the 2 units of Storm Boys. Again, I'm not like yellow scribing these units because, again, we don't actually have everything yellow scribable yet. But this is just so we can visually see like what the army would kind of look like and kind of play from there. So I actually don't think the War Boss attaches to anything. I think he stays kind of free so he can wow whatever the hell he likes. And then we have some Decarigs for some shooting because they are very good at that. And then we have our kind of core game plan here, which is all of this. Remember that all of these guys can surge. So the kill rig can surge, and then these 3 units can surge. Quite good. Quite good, in fact. And yeah, so that's kind of the idea here. I do quite like this kind of style. I think durability-wise, way down. Way down. You don't have the feel no pains anymore. The fact that you can put things in the wire every turn is very strong. But it doesn't mean that you're going to stay alive. So you really need to be making sure that you're hitting your opponent aggressively, really putting wave after wave of stuff in, because the volume in the game right now is just kind of crazy. And I think being able to push extra damage with the kill rig into one of the beast snagger units, have the range support with the 2 Decarigs, having the utility of putting more things in the wire with these guys, I think is going to be quite good. I think altogether this kind of comes together quite well. You have these guys being able to hit pretty hard, being able to hit on 2s with sustained and lethal. Lethal non-monster vehicle though, but still pretty good. And then this unit hitting on 3s, but gets to teleport around and be a bit more of a nuisance as well. I quite like it. It's very all-in. And this is going to be the first list that we have here. So I'm just going to save this for now. Save object, save. And let's go on to the next list then. Is anyone in chat know what they want to look at next as it comes to detachment combinations? Like, I'm happy to go for anything. I'll probably go for a more leaner, less haughty, less model version next, but I'm keen to try anything if anyone is interested. So if anyone in chat wants to say anything, let's figure out what we do next. We could do the Big Hunt themed army and try and figure out, if we're starting with the Big Hunt, what other combinations work really well with that for maximum beast snagger units. Could be kind of an interesting one to go off. There's also, we could go super elite, go more melee, go more shooting. If no one says anything in the next 30 seconds or so, I will probably do the Alpha Strike with the Flyboys, just because I think, one, we need to do it because it's very funny, but two, I think it's an interesting concept to be thinking about. Anything you reckon to make Nasdrig work? Cave Horde. What is Cave Horde? Yeah, let's do something with Nasdrig then. That sounds good. So if we're doing Nasdrig, let's just delete all of this now. And let's go for a Nasdrig combo. So let's untick these. And let's kind of think what would be good with Nasdrig. Nasdrig leads Mega Knobs, so I think Bully Boys becomes in there because Bully Boys just gives all your Knobs and Mega Knobs sustained hits. So kind of gives you the raw horde ability on the units you want them on anyway. So I think Bully Boys will be quite strong there. I think if you're doing this, you probably do want to be a bit more combined arms. So I could definitely see like a Wreckers kind of style. We could also go a bit more aggressive and go for like brute bosses, and even go like a Blitz Brigade. We could still go Green Tide to give to get the kind of double up with Bully Boys, so you can get sustained hits and lethal non-monster vehicle on your Mega Knobs. That's actually quite a powerful combo there. It's weird that you're taking Green Tide, but you don't necessarily want to actually be taking Ork unit, like Ork Boys, but it is actually still quite strong because, yeah, that additional rule where all your Orks infantry gets on the charge lethal non-monster vehicle. So yeah, I think that's kind of an interesting way to go there. We could also go Runt Swarm if you want to kind of go for that kind of style thing where you're keeping your units alive a bit more. Definitely pretty interesting. So let's go Bully Boys, I think, first. Let's go Runt Swarm because I think it's interesting to talk about, if nothing else. And I think there probably is definitely something with brute bosses. If you're going for the kind of going very aggressive, Green Tide also good for just the pure damage. The brute bosses one's also different for now, so I think Green Tide might be the more like stable option, but I want to talk about some of the brute boss stuff anyway, so let's just slam those three. So for this, we have access to brute bosses, which is not one of the... I'm just not seeing it. No, let's have a look at detachments. There's brute bosses. Brute bosses is Purge as well. Excellent. So we got access to Purge, Runt Swarm, which is Prio, and Bully Boys, which I'm assuming will be Purge. Bully Boys is Purge. So we have Purge or Prio assets access here. If we went for Green Tide, we could get Take and Hold, but let's go Prio, I think. Because like pure melee Purge can be a bit iffy, especially when you don't have access to like surge moves and stuff. So sorry, no, I'm gonna go Prio assets for our disposition. So with that, let's slam in Nasdrig first. Or anything else. Yep, cool. So we got Nasdrig, and then he'll be going with a unit of Mega Knobs. And Mega Knobs is one of the ones that for this sheet isn't set up perfectly well. So let's just let that say refresh for a second. So I think 185 is for a 5-man, which I think is what you probably want. Nasdrig's unit maybe goes for the 6, but Nasdrig is just a crazy data sheet. Let's actually read through Nasdrig before we go any further, just so we don't miss anything when it comes to our king. So let's just find his thing that was on Warcom, wasn't it? So Nasdrig, he has just an absolute boatload of shots and shooting, and then he also has just very good melee, right? Like he has 5 attacks at 12-2-3 with twin linked and cleave 1, and then he has 6 extra attacks at 5-1-1 with cleave 1 as well. He gets to do intimidating motivation, which is the same war boss ability to rile up a unit. Excellent. His unit gets deep strike and ignores cover. So his Mega Knob unit you would want to keep on with the combi weapons and stuff like that. You want to keep those in this unit because you actually are hitting pretty decently with them. So I think you don't go for the twin kill saws here, which would also be an extra 25 points because it's plus 5 points per kill saw, twin kill saw. And they also have a reactive move of D6 or 5 if riled up. So pretty good. He adds a lot to a unit. Just checking his points as well. but it is a 360 point unit. Mega Knobs now, they don't get Feel No Pain in the War, or in the while they're riled up. They just have Armor of Contempt on always, which is sometimes it's like very good. It's not as good as Feel No Pain, but at least it's always on. Doesn't matter if you're riled up or not, but it's still a good ability. They never had an invulnerable save anyway, and now they don't really need it because the likelihood, like AP4 is still, you're still getting a 5 up against now. It's pretty good. And like Glasskin and stuff, you're getting a 4 up. So you're pretty durable still. You're not as kind of swingy as it comes with the durability, but you are still pretty good. And now let's talk about some of these detachments that we've picked here. So we have Bully Boys, which, yeah, as I said, gives sustained hits to his unit. Sorry, Bully Boys gives sustained hits to Mega Knobs and Knobs units. So you just have melee attacks, have sustained hits. Excellent roll. There's an upgrade for a Knobs unit. While an enemy unit is engaged with this unit, is selected to make a fallback move. That enemy unit takes Desperate Escape tests. If this unit is rolled up, -1 to the hazardous rolls for those. Pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. And then you can give a second unit of Mega Knobs, another character. You can give the Mega Knob unit Deep Strike, so you can have 2 Deep Striking units here, which is kind of cool. And then we have a 4-up Fight on Death. Yeah, on a 4-up and 3-up, +1 if you're rolled up. Reroll hit rolls of 1 in shooting or fight, and then you can, if this unit is rolled up, it's full hit rerolls. So it actually makes the combo with Nasdrig pretty decent. You deep strike them down, you can shoot something, and it just goes kind of crazy because you can get full hit rerolls if your unit's rolled up. Pretty strong. There's some pretty cool stuff you can do there. And then your opponent's shooting phase when an enemy unit targets a friendly Mega Knob/Knobs unit. You get -1 to wound if strength is greater, or you can pay a second command point, making it 2 command points, and you get just flat -1 to wound. So if you're getting shot with, T4, a strength 4 shooting, you can make them wound you on 6s. If it's equal to you can make them wound on 5s. Costs the extra command point, but very situationally very strong in some regards. So definitely not against that in any regard. And then we have our next one, which is we have Brute Bosses. Now, Brute Bosses, as a detachment rule, just gives War Bosses Fight on Death on a 3-up and +1 if they're rolled up. So on a 2-up, a lot of the time they will be fighting on death, which is pretty good. Like they do kill a lot on their own. They are kind of expensive models, but you're really here for the enhancements you get here. And some of these enhancements are just cranked. First one is Surly as a Squiggoth. Once per battle, at the end of the phase in which this model is destroyed, roll a d6 on a 2-up. This model comes back to life, like with 3 wounds remaining. So it just comes back to life with a war boss. Excellent. So that's probably the one that you want to have not leading a unit. You can kind of have doing that. You got Brutal but Cunning, which is just +1 damage to the war boss's melee attacks. Also very good. We have Blitz Boss. War boss model only a transport unit, excluding walker units that this unit is embarked with, and has +2 move and a 5-up invul. That is very good. It's like, so you put this guy's unit inside a battle wagon, and that battle wagon then has 3-up save, -1 damage, and then 5-up invul. Pretty durable. Then we have Proper Kelly. This model only. This model can reroll hit rolls of 1. That one's pretty average. Then we've got Morgog's Thinking Cap. This one is like the busted one, but this one is 50 points. And this is War Boss model only. Once per battle, per army, at the end of your opponent's movement phase, if this unit is unengaged, this unit can make a normal move of up to d6 inches. If it is rolled up, you can re-roll the d6. So it's Phantasm once per game, end of your opponent's movement phase. You just get to move. So this can really muck things up. You can get them to get within heroic range, get outside of charge ranges. There's all sorts of kind of fun things you can do. The fact that it's a d6 and if you roll it up, you re-roll it is a bit swingy. For 50 points, dang, is it expensive. But we'll be throwing it in this because I think it's quite fun. I think it's definitely worth like trialing out. And then the last one here is just you just get a good gun on your on your war boss, which is kind of like an odd one, but like you do get 12 shots that hit on 4 at 722. It's lethal on monster vehicle. Like 12 shots within 12 inches, but like it's a pretty good gun. It's a pretty strong gun. So I don't hate that. Don't hate that. But so that's what brute bosses do. And then Runt Swarm gives you a Gretchen battle line, and then when your Gretchen advance fallback, they're still eligible to perform actions. So it really gives you great action economy here. You also have an upgrades to give -3 detection range to Gretchen, which is pretty good on Gretchen. And another upgrade to give Gretchen Scout 6, which is also very good. Like both those abilities are quite good. But mainly we're here for Grot Shields is the main one here, which is in your opponent's shooting phase, when an enemy unit targets an Orcs infantry unit, excluding Gretchen, one for any Gretchen unit within 3 inches of that Orcs infantry unit. When a hit roll for that enemy unit is range attack that targets that Orcs unit results in a hit if a model in that Gretchen unit is on the battlefield and that attack sequence for that attack, and your Gretchen unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So basically, you can blank a shooting activation from your opponent for 1 command point, but you lose a Grot unit. And the fact that you can take more Grot units is pretty cool here. It's pretty strong. It really forces your opponent to overcommit to certain units. You can set up really annoying plays for this. There's some pretty fun things you can do here. So pretty powerful there. So we'll be wanting quite a few just Grot units just to have that, and we'll probably have a couple of Runt Herds because there is a reactive move, which is flat 6 if you are an attached unit, and Runt Herds are 10 points, so it makes the unit 50 points, and then you get that reactive move, which is quite good. And yeah, you'll probably take 1 20-man Gretchen unit. There's a 2 CP strat to regrow a Gretchen unit. I don't know if it's worthwhile to even take the 20-man Gretchen unit for this, but maybe. But okay, so that's the combos that we're working with here. So I'm gonna take a drink and then we'll kind of figure out where we want to go from this. So we want to be elite at the most part. And we want to kind of utilize the brute bosses. So we want efficient units that we can so we want probably at least 1 war boss to go with a mega knobs unit, with a knobs unit, and then 1 war boss to go with a mega knobs unit. So let's grab 1 of each for now. And then let's grab another mega knobs unit because I think they are just good and they are worth having. And a knobs unit. We'll do another 5 for the mega knobs, and we'll do the big 10 for the mega knobs. Sorry, for the knobs. Too many knobs. Too many knobs. This is already 1,000 points here, but this is a lot of damage, like in these 3 units. They are all expensive units, but they do all hit like a truck as well. Being able to flex your WoW wherever you need it is pretty strong. Now you could go for like gas in this, but then I think you can't take all this kind of good stuff, like all the good stuff that we have here. Now I think I quite like the brute bosses extra 2 move on the transport. So I think we put that on the normal war boss with the mega knobs, so his transport can go a little bit faster. I think that is pretty neat. So I think we just do, so let's just find out how many points that is. I think that's in the detachments, it tells me on this one. So if we go brute bosses down the bottom, and that is, it's called Blitz Boss. The 20 points for that. So it's pretty cheap actually. We actually are thinking about it. And then we want Morgog's Thinking Cap on the, or do we want Morgog's Thinking Cap on the 10-man knobs? I think you want it on the mega knobs because then they are just naturally more durable. So let's go plus. So we'll just go 50 here. And then we'll go war boss. We'll go plus 20 here. Now we could put them in a truck, and then the truck moves 14, or we could put them in a battle wagon, and then we can put more stuff in it. Both are kind of interesting. Both are kind of good. I don't know what I prefer. I think I like the small form factor, so I think I'm going to go for a couple of trucks here. So let's just grab some trucks. I'm just going to type it in because I can't see it anywhere. Truck. And trucks are super cheap anyway. Then we do need to just go for the grot hordes here. So let's just go Gretchen. Let's grab a few units of, like 4 units of Gretchen here should be plenty. And then we want to grab a runt herd or 2. I think 2 runt herds. So the 2 units that can kind of react to move for flat 6 instead of for d6. I think it's just quite good. And they're so cheap. Like 10 points per character is worth it. It's worth it. So cool. We have 660 points left. We have our 3 big hammer units, which we want to pressure our opponent with. And be able to kind of use all those strats that we have access to. All that kind of good stuff there. Now, is there anything I'm missing from this side of things? Thank you about that. No. Put the fight on death, and we have the -1 to yes. We have all the durability strats. Notably, the kind of cool thing is with the Gretchen strat is you target the Gretchen with it, so it means you can also target the unit with a durability strat later on if you want to. So like you could do like the hulking brutes for -1 to wound later on. So maybe they shoot like some like chip damage at you, you just blanket on the grots, and then later they have some more multi-melters. Like, okay, well now I'm going to be -1 to wound, so then like a lot less of those go through as well. So like you can kind of like balance it out in quite a good way. I think that is genuinely quite strong. Okay, so we got a deep striking unit with Nazdrag. We have 2 units on the board that are decent melee beaters. We do definitely still need some more melee stuff, and we might even go for more Dakar rigs again, because I think they just genuinely don't need much support. They are quite good. Whereas Dakar here could also be pretty interesting, just to have that kind of speedy unit that can go around and be a nuisance. Also, like a couple of boys units wouldn't go amiss here. Genuinely could just go for another knobs unit. Realistically, like I even don't think that that's a bad shot, right? Like go for like 2 units of 5 knobs just to have some cheaper, still decently hitting units, right? I think that's actually kind of like that. Just to have like 125 isn't the cheapest in the world, but they do hit pretty hard for what they are. So let's see where's my knobs at? Talking about anything orc related is just such the most like unhinged comments. Like, where are my knobs at? It genuinely is just mental. Yeah, so yeah, all your boys have like a good volume of attack, like of high damage, damage to attacks, and they can't get screened out, so you can go through screens with them, which can be great. So I think that's pretty strong on its own. Also gives like cycling for the trucks, so you can start maybe the small knob units that aren't led in them. They can get sent out to go out and do the murdering early, and then you can put your big units in to kind of like have a little bit of fun. I think that could be quite cool. So now we have kind of like 2 small, like smaller beta units. Also great uses of the early game riled up, because you don't really need it super early and everything else. It also just gives you some more units to use it on. So definitely don't hate that. Now, what else do we want in this kind of style list? It's really wanting us to be just knobs and mega knobs, because it's really all we're kind of buffing up here. And all the runt swarm strat for grot shields is only infantry based, so we really do want to stay with infantry. So maybe we go for 1 unit of flash kits here, and we go for the big unit. This hasn't updated yet. How many points does that give us left? 200. So I think we then go for a big mech with them. And I don't think we can get any good enhancements for them with the detachment combination that we have here. And we have 115 points left. I think at this point we have 2 things that kind of want to be in trucks, 3 things that want to be in trucks, 4 things that want to be in trucks. So you kind of want 1 truck less than the amount of things, because trucks can also just be kind of useful. Do we want a 3rd truck? I think 2 trucks is kind of where you want to be, because it's like you can hide 2 trucks really easily on a lot of the, like, all the staging kind of fits 2 trucks nicely. The 3rd truck is always going to be sitting awkwardly far back. So I don't know if I love that. And I also don't want to have things in trucks that can then get popped and then be battle shocked and can't do fun things. So with 200 points, what do we want to finish? 115 points, sorry. What do we want to finish this list off with? Well, we could also get rid of a runt herd if need be. Oh, sorry, and we also have, actually we don't, because we're minus 70 points here. If I just go doing, just add these here, are these going to stay? Excellent. So we actually only have 45 points. So is that just another unit of Gretchen, or do we drop a Gretchen for 90? If we go to 90, what could we get that would be useful for us here? Good question, good question. We're not utilizing the +1 damage enhancement. We have a war boss with an upgrade, war boss with an upgrade. So we're not really utilizing some of these stuff from brute bosses here. Do we cut brute bosses and go for the green tide and then just grab some boys? Is that actually probably better here? The Phantasm is very strong, but it is once per game. Hard for your opponent to deal with though. We are playing Prio. We have good action economy for Prio. We probably actually want a unit of Storm Boys to be able to go out and do like the other actions that Gretchen can't get to early. What are actually the points for the Gretchen enhancements? Let's go run swarm, just 10 points each. So maybe we just do that. We just do 3 upgrades that way, and then we only have the 2 enhancements so far. So if we give 3 of them, we probably give 2 that we have access to 2 more enhancement slots, and then an upgrade is a third of 1. So we could take 2 different lots of upgrades. So we could just go for the points and go 2 minus detection range, 2 scouting Gretchen units. Probably actually okay. So that would just be 10, and then all those would be 10. So then if we just added these to the good thing here, we would be at 1995. Now this list is lean, but it actually has quite a bit of stuff. It has a good shooting unit that is very aggressive. It has very tough melee presence with Nasdrig's unit that is a great ingress unit. We have the war boss with 10 knobs that just like hits like a truck. We have the war boss and mega armor with mega knobs. We have 4 Gretchen units that can scout, have extra minus detection range to be annoying to deal with. We have run herds for them to also have reactive moves when we get close to us, which is excellent. We have trucks to keep things in. We have a couple of cheaper knob units just to go out and deal with the first like kind of blows to a lot of things. Then we have flash gets to be our backfield. This is actually pretty decent, and I'm pretty happy with it. So let's go over to TTS now and see how this all comes together. What are you guys thinking of this so far? Are we vibing with these kind of lists? This one's definitely a lot leaner and a lot meaner, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I think it's interesting. Brute bosses is one of the detachments I'm most interested to see how it actually comes out, because it's just like it only increases war bosses, and war bosses are very expensive, but some of the enhancements and stuff you can get are just very strong. So we have, is Nasdaq in here yet? He's not. It's so disappointing. I guess the model isn't out yet, so let's go 5, and let's just use the red unit for the other one. 2 units of mega knobs is very nice. We have 1 with a war boss and mega armor, which should be its own model, right? Yeah, I played at the last event I went to. I played 140 models total, but it was 100 boys, and then Zodrog's unit and just other chaff pieces. It's brutal sometimes. So definitely something that's like you need to give your back a break sometimes. There's that guy. you definitely do need to be being mindful, especially on low tables. Like I'm quite a tall guy. I know you can't really tell my height when I'm on the computer, but I'm 6'3", 6'4", and it can be a bit punishing when you're playing on those low tables, right? Like you're just like, oh, my back. But I love Orks and I love playing the Hordes. Like the Hordes are fun to play, don't get me wrong. And like I don't hate my decision, but yeah, at the end of the event, you definitely like, oh, I need a spar or something. Where are the knobs here? I guess we can go to Flash Gets while we're down this way. Then we have the I hope that this TTS stuff kind of show how the list looks as well. I find this really helpful because you can kind of see oh, actually no, I'm missing this kind of style unit or this kind of style thing. So I find it to be quite helpful for myself. So let me know if this kind of helps you guys visualize the list as well, because yeah, it's interesting for sure. What do we got? We have we got the normal war boss. I should probably grab down here, haven't I? Put one over there, one here. Find these knobs now. Aha. Oh, yeah. No, let's do this. Then we don't have Nasdrig, so we'll just grab this guy and we'll just change his name to Nasdrig. Since we don't have the model yet, but at least this way shows what he kind of looks like. Calzilla TTS is amazing for practicing deployment and getting a feel for how your army will move in the map. Yeah, now I love it for it. Like whenever I'm coming up with concepts, I go straight in, build the army, even if it's not specifically all the correct models. Just if I know what they are, then I can kind of build and kind of plan around and think what I think is good. Like how do I think this will deploy? Sometimes the list might seem really strong, and then you go and try and deploy, and it's oh, actually this just doesn't work. So it kind of sometimes just falls apart in that regard. So it's definitely something to be thinking about, and is a great tool for that as well. Big Mick for our flash gets. Oh, we got that already. Cool. 2 knobs. Oh, Gretchen. And 1,000,000 Gretchen. 10. Crazy amount of Gretchen. I do really like the Grot Shield strap coupled with the Mega Knobs, always on Armor of Contempt, and then the ability to get Manslin to wound as well. I think it just makes these guys weirdly quite durable in some instances. If you go up against the Company of Hunters Dark Angels build with the triple land speed of vengeance, it's still gonna be not a great time. But at least they're kind of low volume count, and they only get 1 blast for this, but then they have to still kill this, and then they might wipe 1 full units, and then the next one does get to go into them. But then it is only AP2. So you're getting 4-ups, because it's AP3, but you get -1 AP. So you're getting, but then every fair one does just kill a guy. Because they have twin link, you probably don't pop the -1 to wound. So there's still some bad matchups for these guys. Still definitely some stuff you need to play around with them, but they definitely are pretty decent. Grab a couple of runt herdies here as well. We have a couple of runt herds. I would give the units that have scouts the runt herds, because you get the reactor move 6, so they'll be your forward deploying units, and then you have the ones that'll be further back. They are minusing detection range. So that's kind of how I would use those. Is that everything? Nasdrig, War Boss, Mega Armor, yep. Mega Knobs. 2 trucks, Gretchen, yep, this is the list. So this is pretty lean, but it does have some pretty good stuff in here. Some pretty strong kind of core concepts. It has, decent trading trash here. It has this unit that can kill a lot. These 2 units. I think Nasdrig's unit keeps the guns, and then the other one grabs some kill saws, some twin kill saws in there with any points you have left over. Maybe you don't give one of these the minus detection range, so you can give all of them the twin kill saws. Because I think that is pretty decent. But you can like being able to give reroll hits, being able to give all the kind of like strong strats to all these core units here makes them quite consistent. Being able to give reroll hits to a unit that has sustained hits, genuinely quite good as well. Notably, all the knobs hit on 3s now, so like getting reroll hits does make them pretty consistent with a lot of the attacks, which is quite nice. Yeah, cool. That's it. That's this list. So I would probably be starting both these units in one, probably the flashy gets in the other truck. Nasdrig would be in reserve, so Nasdrig would be upside down because it can deep strike. And then these guys would want to be cycling into that the first time, and then these guys would want to be cycling into that, or vice versa. You might want to do it the other way around. And then you also just have these guys. These two units are scouting for the two run herd units get to scout forward and lock down objectives for you, and then the back two get to kind of be that late game scorer. You're playing prior assets, so keeping these units alive is really important. So definitely be thinking about that. But you also have like the trucks that you can do the actions with as well. And I think this is pretty solid. I think you definitely do need, if you're playing prio, you do need like the shooting unit just to make sure that you are pressuring shooting lanes as well. So that is kind of what I'd think here. I don't know what I think about this list. I think it has good damage. You're not getting the most out of the flash gets, but you are getting a lot out of the knob units and the mega knob units. I think maybe you don't go brute bosses and you do go like green tide, because then it does kind of supercharge all these units to give the lethal hits on the charge against non-monster vehicles. But all of that stuff just makes them pretty consistent, like a bit like even more consistent. And then if you're not taking those enhancements, you can probably drop this war boss and take a unit of boys as well, just to get some of the buffs, like a unit of 10 boys, just to be able to, because they can sticky objectives for one command point. Useful there. What do you mean by cycling the units on the truck? The unit starting the truck instantly disembark and then go get. Yeah, so basically, let's just do this. Let me just save this unit in this army. Let's just save you. So what I mean by this is if we just go into LCT, I'm just going to load up a map just so I can kind of explain what I'm meaning by it, just so you guys can follow along. Always be blue because blue is better. It doesn't matter what map. Random single. Yep, awesome. Load. War boss one. Yep, excellent. Yep, so what I would be doing is it would be this one. Actually, you can start pretty aggressively with this guy. So this guy starts like here, somewhere that is safe. It's like weirdly like there. Then the other truck awkwardly doesn't actually have a great place to start, so it might just be somewhere like back here that's just off this terrain. I'm not going to precision movement because like that's the amount of movement precision I have, but somewhere along these lines here, off that terrain piece though, so it's hidden. And you start these units inside that one, and you start this unit inside this one most likely. And then you can keep these other units. So you can say keep these guys behind here. Oop. These guys behind here. So then if these guys need to get out and be used on turn one to like clear screens, or just like you can get them out, move them, and then move this unit forward. And then at the end of the move, you can choose to rile up this unit and then get in, which is kind of like a weird combo that you can do. But you can get this unit out, advance them forward, be all touching this, and then you can advance this unit forward, make sure they're all within 3 of this guy. Then you can sequence it that you get to rile this unit up and then get inside. Pretty powerful combo, and then this unit can be like your first actuator. It might be that you cycle on turn 2, not on turn 1. So you might actually just leave this as is for a turn because you don't need to get them out. You'll also probably have like a unit of Gretchen that are chilling somewhere around here. And that's kind of what I mean by that. And you just can do the same thing here. These units can get out. You might even just like send one unit to be over here. just to be a bit more of an aggressive nuisance, especially if there's no ranged threats on your opponent's side there. And then the other unit can maybe go out to just go kill something that was sent to the middle. So they end up going out to there. And you can do the same kind of riled up trick here where you move this unit. So this unit starts like tucked in here. Also completely safe. Something along like obviously completely safe as much as you can be. And yeah, and then they can kind of like, because you can remember you only have to be within 3 to get in. So you can actually like advance this unit out to here. This unit advanced and got over to here, but you put one model within, I think it's 9 inches for the rile up. So you just make sure one model just travels back, and then you can still advance and charge there potentially, and then you can kind of go out that way. So it's kind of like how you can like sequence things like quite powerfully with the new Ork Codex. Is like how you can like cycle these units out, still get great use out of these units. And just be able to do that. You also might want to do it the other way around, restart the war boss in, and then these guys start out, but it's really up to you what you want to do there. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean turn 1, just on one of the turns you'll be doing stuff like that. That all make sense? I hope. But yeah, so that's kind of this list. I think it's a cool list. I think it definitely can do the damage. This is like one of the worst maps for it though. Dawn of War. Dawn of Wars just shouldn't be in the game. They're just really hard. Like they are like close, which is nice. Like we like as an Ork player, you do like this, but the issue is from a shooting army. One, it's like the shooting army is gonna just like they're so fast nowadays. Like moving 12 inches isn't fast for a shooting unit. So like they can just touch this turn 1, and it's just brutal for you. And same over here, right? Like 12-inch moving unit can touch that. So where the heck do you hide? It's just so I don't love it. Means you like as a melee army, you just have to be able to play more aggressive, and Orks aren't that durable. Flash gets going to 3 wounds is definitely helpful. The same with Knobs. Knobs are also 3 wounds now, so that's definitely helpful, but isn't like the be all and end all of the world. Cool. So that is list number 2. Let's do the Alpha Strike list. I'm ready for it. This is going to be very silly, but I am looking forward to it. So because it is just silly. So let's do it. Let's delete all this stuff now. But yeah, what I was saying is like I think maybe brute bosses might not be the direction because it just makes your stuff so expensive, and then you can get green tide, make your units a bit more high damage, and then you just get access to some you get access to like an Ork Boys unit, and then the extra lethal hits can be really important there. Let's unclick these now. Now we want to go for pure raw damage. So Flyboys, because we wanted to get 3 Wazbomb Blaster Jets in there. You're more than welcome, Paul. I'm happy to help you. If you have other questions, I do have a Discord. That will be, I don't think the link's in the description for this video because I didn't put it in there for the live stream. But just go on my videos, there's a link to the Discord. Jump in there if you have questions to ask. And I'm going to be doing a bit more Ork content. I'm going to try and do content for all the codexes when they come out. Trying to like, one, get a better understanding for all the armies as they come out for myself, but also be able to show like my thought process with each army and how I'll try and build them. So we got Flyboys here because we want the triple Waz bombers. Then Wreckers is tempting me. Dread Mob is tempting me. What else is? Runtswarm is like good just because you get a lot of cheap units, which is kind of nice. Ooh, what else am I thinking here? Is anyone else got any ideas for what would be like the best? I think Wreckers makes sense because you probably want Flash Gets for like that second wave of damage here. Madcat Mechs is pretty interesting because you get some pretty decent stuff there. Dread Mob's probably better though because you probably just run like double to triple Dakarig as well. That's probably kind of like your list, right? Like it's kind of just making itself at that point. You also go Blitz Brigade if you want to go for the more the combo-y with the gun wagons, the battle wagon gun variant, because there's 2 different battle wagons. There's battle wagons and gun wagons. The gun wagon obviously just has more guns on it. So let's go Dread Mob. I think Dread Mob's probably better here. So let's do this as our combination. So Flyboys we have Recon, Wreckers we have Prio, and Dread Mob we have Purge. So we have access to 3 pretty decent dispositions here. We are trying to be pretty aggressive with this setup, so I might just go for Purge here. The one changes what we are again, so let's go for Purge. I'm going to color this red as well so I don't forget that we're Purge. So let's just do that. So, okay, this is all about being super aggressive. So let's just go through what a couple of these detachments do. So firstly, we have Flyboys. Flyboys gives Orks aircraft units do not count towards the combined points value of strategic reserve units. And while a friendly Orks aircraft / Death Copters unit is riled up, this unit's range attacks have +1 to hit rolls. Both quite good rolls. So pretty cool stuff. So then we have 2 enhancements. We have Flyboss, Orks aircraft unit only. This unit has a character. When this unit ends an ingress move, each friendly Orks aircraft / Death Copters unit within 6 inches of this unit is riled up until the start of your next turn. So you just give splash out your aircrafts and Death Copters with the with 5 involves, and then effectively +1 to hit rolls. Pretty good, pretty good. And then we have Impulsive Recon, which is you can deep strike turn 1 with your planes. Pretty good. I don't actually think we need the turn 1 kind of jank here. I think we are just going for the kind of beta strike, the turn 2 alpha. I think we probably give 2 of them this upgrade, depending on how many points it is. What's it called? Impulsive Recon. And where's Flyboys on this? Flyboys. Impulsive, it's only 15 points, so 30 points just to have the threat of doing it turn 1, I think is quite good. But I don't think we necessarily super need it. So, and then we have a couple of good strats. We have any phase when an Orks aircraft unit is destroyed, before rolling its deadly demise, you do not roll its deadly demise. You pick an enemy unit within 12 inches and roll 8d6. For every 4 up, you take a mortal wound. So you can kind of just blast 3 to 4 mortal wounds on something when your unit dies. Pretty handy. Nice to be able to use a strat when a unit dies. And then we have long uncontrolled bursts. Your shooting phase when a friendly Orks aircraft / Death Copters unit is selected to shoot. That Orks aircraft / Death Copters unit. Units range attacks hit that target a fly unit. Those units can re-roll hit rolls. There is a lot of fly units in the game, so just being able to natty just re-roll hits against them is just excellent. Especially on a unit of Death Copters, because they have decent volume, the 12 shots that they have. Super good there, super good. And then the last one is Death Copters unit, unengaged, reactive move. If you end within 8 inches of it, they can react move d6, or if it's riled up 6 inches. So nice, definitely helps Death Copters a lot. So we want Death Copters and we want our Where's Bomb Blaster Jets, because they are both just pretty good. Both pretty good. So that is that. And then we have Wreckers, which is one of the ones that I've talked about a bit so far. Let me just bring up what Wreckers is. So Wreckers gives your Breaker Boys, which you just ignore that one, Flash Gets and Tank Busters unit, is selected to shoot. If any of the following apply, that unit reroll hit rolls of 1. If it's on an objective or if it shoots something on an objective. Both pretty simple to do. The objectives are huge in the 11th edition. So pretty good. So very good for Flash Gets, also pretty good for Tank Busters. Very bad for Breaker Boys because they have 1 pistol in the unit. So this is only in shooting. And then we have enhancements. We have Captain's Hat. Model only. When both players have deployed, you can put up to 3 Orks infantry units back into reserve or redeploy them. Very good. We also give Flash Gets units. Stats guns have rapid fire 1, so we like that one. That one very good. Then we have a in your shooting phase when an Orks transport unit is selected to shoot. That Orks transport unit, your unit's range attacks that weapons have the firing deck ability, so anything inside of it shooting out get +1 to hit. So you can still get pretty decent shooting out of your tank busters and Flash Gets from inside transports. This is very important for this kind of alpha strike that we're trying to do here. Then we have Grab It. Your shooting phase when a friendly unengaged Flash Gets or tank busters unit has shot. That Breaker Flash Gets unit, your unit can make a normal move of up to 6 inches, but must end that move within range of an objective marker. But you can then sequence it, then you can then get into a transport. Notably, you cannot get out of a transport and then back into the same transport, so you'd have to do a weird cycle thing if you wanted to do that. But there's ways of you send one unit out to shoot, the other unit gets out, stays behind, and then the other unit, and that unit gets in. You can do some kind of weird janky stuff with this. the unit that was already out moves forward, shoots, and then the unit that was in gets out, and then the unit that is just shot can go back in. So you can kind of still like cycle in a way. It's got some weird things you can do there, but it's pretty powerful. And also like the move blocks you can do. You can't charge after doing it, which is very good. You shouldn't be able to. But notably, it doesn't say anything that you can't have advanced. So you can like get out, move very far, shoot, and then move another 6 inches. It's pretty crazy. So like being able to move like, would it be 21 inches in a turn potentially is pretty awesome. And then your opponent's shooting phase, when they target a flash gets or tank buster unit, after they've finished shooting, you can shoot back at normal ballistic skill. So also pretty good. Obviously, like units aren't that durable, but like one tapping 10 flash gets is pretty tough. So that's definitely a thing. And then we have Dread Mob as our last one. Where is Dread Mob? This beautiful Dread Mob. So this is just for Orks Walker units. You basically get either +1 attack, +2 strength, or +1 AP when you shoot or fight. Or you can roll 2 dice and you get 2 of those buffs, and you always will get 2 of those buffs because you reroll duplicates. But you take hazardous rolls. You take 1 hazardous roll for each model. So pretty good, like plus shots, plus attacks, or plus AP on all your ranged weapons. It's pretty good breakpoints. It's like pretty spicy there. Big Mac Mech can have +2 move as an enhancement. The other one is you can get a Big Mac model only while the model is within 3 inches of a friendly Orks Walker. This model has the lone operative. In your shooting phase, you can select one friendly Orks Walker unit within 3 inches of this model. That unit's attacks can reroll hit rolls of 1 until the end of turn. Pretty handy. Pretty nice stuff there. Then we have Crazed Rampage as a strat. Fight phase when an enemy unit targets a friendly Orks Walker unit. It's a 3-up fight on death. 4-up fight on death. Sorry, it's a 4-up fight on death. If you are a Death Dread, it's guaranteed fight on death. Cute. Not the most powerful thing in the world, but cute. You can auto-rile up a Orks Walker unit. This can be really big for if you really need a riled up, or it's basically like auto-advance to a Big Mac Dakarig, because you get Assault when you are riled up. So pretty powerful ability there. And you also just get the invul and everything. It's pretty good. And then the last strat here is Orks Walker unit gets mobile, and it's in your movement or charge phase when it is selected to move or declares a charge. So you do have to do it proactively. You have to do it and then like roll your advance roll. But if you're behind a wall, you can just move through the wall. Pretty good stuff. Like pretty powerful stuff. So those are the 3 that I went with. They're all stuff that increases damage, right? So Wreckers increases my infantry's damage. Dread Mob increases the Walker's damage, and then Flyboys increases the Planes and Deathcopter's damage. So it's all about like trying to push through more consistent and a lot of damage here. Now I think another interesting option here would be Madcaps? The Madcaps Marauders? What's it called? Madcap Mechs. Okay, so so in your shooting phase, when a friendly Big Mac guns, Morkan Orks, Waz Bomb Blaster Jet units, ranged attacks, target a single enemy unit, roll a d6. On a 1, the enemy unit has a 4-up invul. No, horrible. On a 2 to 3, splash models, D3 mortal wounds to everything within 3 inches of the unit you're shooting. Pretty good. 4 Seekers, those units have +1 to hit rolls. You're already probably going to have +1 to hit with your planes, so not super great there. On a 5, sorry, those units has the fly queue and cannot gain the benefit of cover until your unit has shot. Everything you're going to be shooting basically is going to be ignoring cover, so not super relevant. And then 6, your unit has -1 toughness until that your unit has shot. Pretty decent stuff here. And then there's only one enhancement, which is for mech guns, and you can get lethal or lethal sustained and hazardous. So you can get lethal or sustained or lethal sustained hazardous. Some pretty interesting like enhancements for like big mix of strike attack guns and stuff like that, but I just don't think it's worthwhile. So I think we'll stick with our 3 and we'll just kind of go through. We're gonna play Purge. Let's start with our Waz bombs. They should be right at the bottom here. Yeah, 3 of these big boys. Like, this is silly. This is definitely a skew, right? Like, I talk about skew lists quite a bit on the channel and how I don't really like them, but they are fun. They're so much fun. So really enjoyed that kind of side of things as well. Awesome. Yeah. So let's continue. So we have 3 Wesmont Blaster Jets. Let's go for um, 2 Big Mechs for the 2 units of flash kits we'll have, and we'll just add those flash kits units now. And we'll have these as max flash kits units because that's the way we roll here. Cool. And then we'll grab a couple of trucks for them as well because that's what we need. And truck and a truck. Already, this is quite a few points, obviously. Kind of just is the way it'd be. Then let's go for, we do still want like a war boss to be able to rile up our stuff, but we might go for a Defkiller War Trike here just so we can have a bit more speed with it as well. So that might be an option. So we'll wait that a little bit and see where the points shake out and how the rest of our list is looking. But we will grab our Defcopters now, and we want at least 2 units of Defcopters, potentially 3 as well, because we want to be able to do those crazy alpha strikes. And they are 160 each and 160. Now I think we go for a unit of Tank Busters as well. And then we'll go for a Big Mac with Shock Attack Gun to lead them as well, because I'm pretty sure he's the leader. So we can get one of those. So do you and and you. And we're already basically at points. And notably, this is not actually using any of the Dreadmob stuff yet. So if we want to be using, if we're not using Dreadmob, then maybe we actually swap from Dreadmob to Cult of Speed. Because then it gives our, gives some strats to the Defcopters, and then we probably just go for the 3rd Defcopter unit here. And maybe grab some Grots as well. But let's have a look, see where we are at points wise, and let's just have a quick talk about Cult of Speed then. So Cult of Speed, Warbuckers in battle line, and friendly Speed Freak units can advance in select to make an advanced fallback move that units ranged attacks. They have assault, and that does not prevent them from being eligible to declare a charge. So you can advance and shoot, and you can fall back and charge. Notably, you can't fall back and shoot. Then we have Speed Freaks, an upgrade for Speed Freaks units. When attack targets this unit, if it's not fully visible, they get the benefits of cover, which is nice. And you can reroll another enhancement for Defkiller War Trike to reroll charges, also pretty decent. There's a splash heal for Rocket Truck Squig Buggies, which we're not going to be doing here. Speed Freak unit is selected to shoot that Speed Freaks unit. Your unit's range attacks have sustained hits 1. This is quite excellent on those Defcopter units, which is why I thought we'll swap over to this. And then Speediest Freaks, you can basically have like Trans Hitman, which is the, you can't be hit on a 1, 2, or 3. So you, yeah, pretty powerful ability there. So especially with like Custodians when they hit on 2s, you can make them so they're hitting on 4s. It's like -2 to hit. It's a huge reduction in damage. So really powerful strats there. So if this is our list, we have 2 Flash Gets units with Big Mechs. The 2, maybe we go for like a small Defcopter unit to have something like more like trashy to kind of go out there. I kind of don't hate that. We also need some like Grots just to hold the backfield and like screen for us. So Gretchen probably are important here as well. This is definitely just like trying to be like raw damage to the list though. This is not trying to be like subtle at all. This is just trying to push through damage. So let's go grab some Gretchen first. Grab 2 units of Gretchen. And what do we have left? We have 115 points left. So it's 80 points with the Defcopters. Is that worthwhile? I don't know. We got the Flash Kits, we got the Tank Busters. We do need the couple of enhancements. So we need the Blaster Jet Commander one, which I think is 20 points. And then, so let's just add in 20 points down here, just to have it taken off. Now, do we want the double first turn ingresses, which is like pretty interesting? I think so. So we want 15 and 15 for those. That is notably 2 of our enhancements gone, and then we probably go for the Wrecker's Super Snares Decker, which is 20 points per unit as well. So we'll get another 20 and 20 there, and we are down to 25 points left. You don't have anything to rile up outside Warcry. Yeah, that is the issue, right? Like I was saying, like we probably did want a Death Killer Wartrike or a War Boss in here, so it's just trying to find out what do we drop for that. I was just trying to make sure like we have everything that we want first, and then where do we start cutting things? It's kind of like the main thing. But we do need to make sure that we still have stuff to hold objectives, which is why I wanted to make sure we had some Gretchen and stuff along those lines. It might be that we just drop down to 2 Blaster Jets, but it's kind of like the whole idea of this list is like you're just taking the meme. So we could probably drop one of the flash kits down to a 5 and get rid of the big mech, but I do really like just the pressure that this package kind of deals out. The Wazbomb Blaster Jets do just get +1 to wound against monster vehicles, so maybe we don't need the tank busters and the shock attack gun here, or maybe we just take the shock attack gun and don't take the tank busters. That way we can add in like a Death Killer Wartrike to kind of rile up the Death Copters. But do remember, you can drop in the blaster in every turn that it ingresses, right? Like it gets to re-rile up. So if it stays alive, it gets to rile up stuff again the next turn it comes in. So there's like some utility there, but I do agree. I think we do want. So we have Wa, and then we have the Fly Boss. So I think those are the two main things that we're caring about there. But maybe we just do get rid of this one. Let's just grab a Death Killer Wartrike and see what, without the so we'd have the Big Mac Shock Attack gun on its own, because it can just go in one of the trucks and just vibe in there and then shoot out of it. And now we have 90 points left, so we can actually get like another trash unit, which I actually really like here. So I think we get like a unit of Storm Boys. And come on. That gives us 20 points left, which is like flex for the list, right? Like I think that's probably a good place to be. Blaster Jets can only strat reserve. 3 may just get in each other's way. You're big enough that you can just be next to each other. Like, this isn't a real Blaster Jet. My other one's in the back, but this is one that I built years and years ago, back when I was like, I would have been like 16 or 17. But it's like an old aircraft, but it's got like an Ork guy, and it's got like the assault cannon underneath. I don't know if you can see that. But it's got like these patches all on top. But like the models are actually like, it's just the bases that you really need to worry about, because you can always put them on weird angles. You don't care about their facings anymore. So you can definitely just like drop them down really realistically wherever you want, which is like pretty handy. They're not that big that they're really going to get in each other's way too much. You do want to be within 12 inches, which makes it a little bit tighter, but it just kind of is what it is. You can't really do much about it. But the idea is that you have flash kits kind of like clear the first wave if you need it, and then you have the Waz bombs come down turn 2 or turn 1, because you do have the option for that as well. So that's, I fished that out the other day. I was like, oh, I remember, because I have 2 actual Waz bomb Blaster Jets, and then that one's just kind of like, I was like, oh, I can do this. So like, I need to paint all 3 of them up now, and then I'll have all 3. Probably half the reason why I want to make this list. Not that I think it's actually gonna like win you many prizes, but it's gonna be just fun to play. And like, it's just the Ork shooting is just kind of crazy here. So I think this is going to be the list. So let's just make this in TTS then and see what it looks like. So let's swap back over to TTS, bring back up the Ork stuff, and let's have a look-see at what this list would look like. It's going to be a bit crazy, don't get me wrong, but we should be all right. Where's Bomb Blaster Jet? So we've got 3 of these bad boys. Do we know this? I reckon this list is going to look like actually super cool. We got those. We got the flash kits. Oh, no. 2 units of flash kits. Yeah, excellent. And then we have big mix to go with both of them to give them. Oh, gotta stop doing that. Got those to go with that. We have a difficult war trait, so we can rile stuff up, which is it was still definitely a great shout, right? Like I think we do need this just to be a bit more. We can call the war, and then we have the fly boss one to be able to do that, and then the other two can ingress turn one if we want. I don't think you really use it unless your opponent just disrespects it, and you can be like, cool, I'm just going to slam this flank and just like delete everything on that flank. They do have a lot of shots. But they're only really good when they're riled up. So like you can maybe drop one down and then get the war trike within range to be able to rile it up, so it gets +1 to win against the monster vehicles. I think that could be quite good, but also I don't know if it's super duper needed. We have a shock attack gun on its own. We have 2 trucks. I think the 2 trucks are important here because you want to be able to be as fast as physically possible with this list. So let's just move this unit. So this looks a bit tidier. What else am I missing? The Gretchen. I think the Gretchen are actually one of the like most important parts of this list, unironically, because you just need them so desperately to be able to hold your home field and like just hold your expansion, because everything's just going to be going balls to the wall with a list like this. Deathcopters, got triple wares bomb, big mix, flash gets, truck, yellow, Storm Boys, the boys of the storm. And yeah, and I think this is just having this extra unit to be able to go out and do stuff, I think is also pretty handy. Yeah, because like when you're like deploying these guys, because of like their wings and everything, you can just do like weird stuff where like you can sit them like nose into bum there, and then like this guy, you know, can have his wing, because his wings will be a bit taller. You can have them like just in really weird positions, right? Like you can fit them in really weird ways. Yeah, absolutely. You want to be able to rile up the trucks as well, right? Because like just being able to stay inside the truck and move it, you know, what 12 plus d6 with a reroll, and even keep the guys inside because you have the strat for +1 to hit, and you can just use a sustained profile that the guys have, and then just blast out of it. This is actually generally quite strong as well, so you can keep the kind of flash gets alive for a turn, but you have that threat. The idea is that you can just dump everything out on a turn and just blast your opponent. Is kind of the whole idea of the list. Is like it's just like it's on a knife's edge of I could just table you this next turn if you let me. Because you remember that the flash kits also have the melter profile, so they can also like pump tanks as well if you need to. You have the volume profiles from the Deathcopters, so you also have some extra volume when you need it. Now, is this list the top meta list that's going to come out? Probably not. But god damn it, does this look fun to play though. And this is the entire list, right? Like it's just you got the blaster jets to kind of just go out in there and win more slam stuff. You have the Deathcopters too. These guys can up you downy, so you start them on the board, and then if your opponent goes first, you just lift them up, and then you can drop them down so you can get the +1 to hit pretty much always on them. Is just really, really strong. Also reactive disembark, then Overwatch with sustained plus the 5++. Yeah. Yeah, no, it is pretty rude. It's yeah, there's some pretty cool combos you can do. Like the trucks, I think are very sleeper with the like the ranged units specifically. I'd love to have the tank busters, but I do think that the death killer's probably better here. And I don't think you can go less than like this amount of trash, because you still again just need to be able to hold your objectives. There's a world where you do just not take this and you do just take the extra damage because you are playing Purge. So who cares? You just want to table your opponent. Maybe you just go for the super aggressive line where if you didn't take any of this, you could just take the tank buster unit as well. Remembering both these flash kits units do have the rapid fire upgrade as well, so that like they kill like harder. This guy has nothing, but like he's also just very good on his own. Some more strength 12 damage coming out there is just solidly pretty good. So yeah, so this list is one that, or something very similar to this, is definitely something I want to try out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be kind of weak into certain matchups though. Like if it doesn't have the damage profiles to specifically kill what you go into, it might just kind of fail a little bit. But the idea is that you just have a lot of high damage stuff and still with decent volume. because you're hitting with most things on like 4s or 3s with reroll 1s a lot of the time. So you're pretty consistent, and a lot of it can have sustained hits or something along those lines. I don't think the Waz Bomb Blaster Jets are speed freaks. But they are speed freaks. Hell yeah. So you can give them sustained hits as well. So that's another reason to do Cult of Speed instead of Dread Mob then. So that's actually really good. So you can use the 1 CP strat for sustained hits on one of these guys as well. So you can be hitting on 3s, and with all those buffs, that's pretty hot. That's pretty hot. And these always have a 5-up invult as well, which is just really nice because you just give them, they just get that for free. Yeah, so basically these guys have a dual teleport mega blaster, which is blast 1, ignores cover, rapid fire 6, 24-inch range, 6 shots, so 12 shots within 12, hitting on 4s, strength 9, AP 2, 3 damage. And in your shooting phase, with this unit's ranged attacks that target a monster vehicle, you have +1 to wound. So if you're riled up, you get +1 to hit because of Flyboys, and if you made an ingress move. So if you made an ingress move and you're riled up, you get that buff. So like you can be hitting on 3s. One of them could have sustained hits with 12 shots of that, and then you also get a smasher gun, which is just 4 shots with ignores cover, hitting on 4s with 633. And then you also get 8 shots with rapid fire 4, so 12 shots at hitting on 4s again with 611. And all of that can just like, it's just a lot of decker from each of these guys, right? Like it's just a lot of decker. So I'll save this, and we can go on to the next one. We'll probably do one more for this for the stream, and then I'll probably call it quits for the night. So what do people want to do? Do we want to do like the full infantry shooty style list, which I think will probably be like one of the most meta lists, and we can kind of break down exactly what we want to do there. I think that could be pretty interesting. We've kind of gone for a couple of melee heavy ones so far, and this is like so incredibly just like alpha strikey craziness. But I think there's definitely something here, and then maybe we do the shooty orcs as well. Definitely give that a hoon. And again, I'm not sure if my spreadsheet here is 100% right with all the points. I tried to pull from as much data as I could to make sure I was getting things as correct as I can. But things might be wrong, so apologies there if the points are off by a little bit, but I think it's close. So for this last list, let's just delete all of this. We're not going to be purge. And let's pick our detachments here. Oh, wreckers will stay on, so because we're going to be wreckers. Now wreckers, I think we do shooter boys. And now there's like an interesting point where Dread Mob's very good. If we're taking the Decker rigs, Runt Swarm's good just to give you access to the extra durability, and then the extra units is quite strong. But then even like Green Tide, just to give you guys like a little bit of extra damage and melee, is also like not bad. The Hunt's not bad. Blitz Brigade, you can have that a fun combo. I think Out of War did that one of their live streams on it where they did the whole like Blitz Brigade. You can get like a gun wagon, also a battle wagon with all the guys inside like hitting on 3s for sustained hits. Pretty cool combo you can do there. I'm not a massive fan of the wagons in general on 11th edition terrain because they're just very hard to hide because they're so goddamn long, but they are good. Like they're not bad. There's that. I also think that Cult of Speed is just quite good. Like if you want to add Deathcopters I genuinely think are very strong. Being able to uppy downy them now is like a hell of a rule. I definitely think that is pretty interesting. So I think for this, so we have so far we have Wreckers, which is prior assets, which is great. That's going to change to Purge. Like I think that's just going to be a Purge one, or it's going to change to like a Disruption because I can just feel it. Shooter Boys is Purge, and then so we could try and find something that if we for our disposition, but I think Purge for like range shooting is pretty good. Recon is also pretty good. So if we go Cult of Speed, we can go Recon. So maybe we go Recon, but our goal is kind of just like kill, but with Recon as the side. Let's go Recon, and we'll just highlight this blue so we know we're Recon, and let's go with this. So Shooter Boys is the only one we haven't covered here so far. So let's go and just talk a little bit about a recon. So, about recon, about shooter boys. We have shooter boys attachment is Daka. Friendly Orks infantry range attacks have assault, so you don't have to be in the war to get assault, which I think is notably kind of handy, especially if you're going to have a lot of infantry range stuff. And then while this unit is rolled up, plus 3-inch range. Notably, this is also very good on flash kits, making the melter profile like further out, making the 24-inch range profile slightly further out. All these things are just great. So very, very strong there, and also just good on most things. Then we have Super Glowy Thing is an enhancement. Orcs infantry model, excluding Weird Boy. This model's range attacks have anti-infantry 4+, dev wounds, and super hazardous, which means they make 2 hazardous rolls every time they shoot. And then there is a Big Mac, Big Boss, War Boss model. This unit's range attacks, excluding torrent weapons, have +3 range. So you can actually go plus 6-inch range on a unit of what's it called? Flash kits, or like say tank busters, just to like give them that extra little bit of like safety. Don't know how good that is, but it's not bad. Not bad. And then we have 3 strats. A friendly Orcs infantry unit is selected to shoot. That Orcs infantry unit, that range attack that target a unit excluding monster vehicles has +1 to wound rolls. Crazy. Like, just especially on flash kits. I know I'm talking about flash kits a lot, but this like shooter boys just cranks flash kits with wreckers. Like the combo there is just crazy. Some of the strats. Friendly Orcs infantry unit is selected to shoot. That Orcs infantry unit targets a unit within 9 inches. You have +1 AP. Now flash kits get +1 AP if they target something on an objective. So they could be AP3 to AP4 to AP5 here on the melt. On the just the like good range. Like you can be like just, it's just crazy. Like so you go for, the melters are AP4, so they go AP5. Like just some crazy stuff you can do there. Pretty fun. And then the last one is shooting phase. Friendly Orcs range attacks selected to shoot. You get sustained hits. So if your units don't have big max in them, you can still get sustained hits. Also, if you can get precisioned out or something, you can have like access to it somewhere. So it's still nice. That one's not as useful because all the time you want to have ignores cover, and the only way to get ignores cover is with big max. So because you need that, you already kind of have sustained hits. But it means you don't have to be riled up, so you can get ignores cover. If you can't rile them up in any way, you can still get sustained hits on the unit. So with that, we have cultist speed. So our speed freak stuff is good. We have wreckers because we want to take flash kits. So let's just start with the menace of flash kits. So let's take 2 big macs because big macs are great. We'll probably actually end up taking a couple of shock attack guns as well. So let's just do that because I think the double shock attack gun is quite good. There's a stepper on the second one though, so the second one does cost 10 points more. It is what it is. 200 points for this. The amount of shots that these guys have is just crazy. Then we go for the 2 flash kits units. I still think you probably only go for the 2 because the third one does go up by 30 points, so it's quite a hit on the third unit. But then I think we go for tank busters, and I think we go for 2 units of tank busters as well because we're getting all those juicy buffs on both of them as well. Again, this is already like a lot of points. Now we need trucks to put them in. So I think we grab 3 trucks for this one. Because there's a stepper on the 4th truck, so 3 trucks is maximum. I know I said at the start of this when I was doing trucks that you only want like 2 because it's best to hide them. I think this list you've probably been a bit more aggressive with the trucks, so you'll probably lose one early and then you can kind of slot one into the staging point for it. It's fine. So 3 trucks here because you also already have a bunch of units. You already have 4 units that want to be inside them. Let's grab a couple of units of Gretchen because we still need something to play our backfield and do stuff for us. Let's just grab 2 Gretchen. Just to have them. So we're still at 600 points. We're actually doing pretty well for points so far. And we have our kind of 4 big hitter units. Shock attack guns might not be attached to tank busters, so what we might do is we might actually bring in third big mech for one of the tank busters, and then one of the shock attack guns is on its own, and then the other one goes with the other tank buster unit. So you kind of have an extra activation there. Now I think the third Big Mac does cost more, but I'm not sure. So we'll just do like plus 10 here. Let's just do plus 10. It's because we'll just do 10 points here. Easy. Okay, so we've got like that's our base. Now, and we have some action or some action economy here, or some units we need to go out. So the next thing we need to be thinking about is how we do the recon missions. So we need to have some units. We have 2 of these guys, but I think we need like 2 units of Storm Boys. I think that's probably like at minimum what you want for being able to play some recon pretty decently. And then I think we go for some Devcopters. And this list is almost completely done already. We have 105 points left. We do want 20 for both of these for the extra range. That's already 50 points. So we're actually already down to 55. And then is there... I don't think any of the Shooter Boys enhancements are actually worthwhile. We do need a War Boss style model here, because we need something to be riling up the stuff, because it's just super powerful. So we do need a War Boss. I think we just actually go with the Foot War Boss here. And then we're just going to have to find some points somewhere, because we are now over by 45 points, which could just be a Gretchen. It could be the third truck, and we just try and like reserve one of the tank buster units that comes in from the sides. Could be the way to go, actually, because I don't think we really... These 4 units, Devcopters definitely do help with the recon missions a little bit, because like yes, you have the action pieces, which are easy enough with the Gretchen and the Storm Boys, but then on the ones where it's more like movement and central base, like in the take and hold matchup, being able to put these guys like uppy downing them into different table quarters is nice. What would we drop here? I think it is the truck. I think we just drop the truck. I think this just gets taken out. Let's add in just 50 points for the upgrades that we have so far. And that leaves us with 15. So that could be like another upgrade somewhere around the place, but roughly is about that. So that is us. And let's go over to TTS and put this list together then. Final list for today. Let's have a look, see what we have here. So we have, we can just kind of copy a bit of this because we want it anyway. So we want to keep this around because we have that anyway. We have a second one of you. We have the tank buster unit. What do we want to do here? Bring you over. So we have our 2 kind of like platoons, I guess, in a way. One of them probably has one of these guys. Oh, yeah, one of them has one of these guys. Just to kind of flesh that out a little bit. We do have just a standard War Boss. So let's just grab you if you're still around, or did I use him for an... Oh, no, he's still there. Excellent. Since the last one, I'm just going to grab him now. He'll be on his own. He won't be leading anything. He's just going to be vibing, running around, being an absolute nuisance as he is. What else do we have in this list? We've got the 2 Tank Busters, 2 Gretchen units. I think 2 units of Devcopters, 2 big units of Devcopters again. 2 units of Devcopters, 2 units of Storm Boys. And that looks like it, is it? So, similar list to the last, but I think this list can play a lot slower than the plain list, but it still has a crazy amount of damage. It could play Purge, it could play Recon, play Disruption if it really wanted to, if we're being real. But this is kind of what we're looking at here. So we got Deathcopters to be the speed freaks thing. Notably, also you have the 1 CP strat to get +1 to hit on this thing, but you also have the strat for sustained hits. So if you wanted to pop the melters out of these guys, you can just 1 CP speed freaks that and give it sustained hits for the 10 guys inside. You don't get ignores cover, but you'll be hitting poorly. But hey, man, you can still do some crazy damage with that. Some crazy damage. So yeah, this list is, I think, one or something like this. You probably do need like a melee threat or a ingress threat. So maybe one of these gets dropped for something along those lines. It's like 200 points. You do like, the one thing, this is kind of, it's super heavy on the shooting, but it doesn't have bad melee. Like, it's lots of volume, AP1 melee. You probably do need some kind of like melee counterpunch, some heroic threat option. There's no fallback and shoot like in Orks, so you really need to be killing the stuff that you're in combat with. So yeah, what could we change then to get some melee in the list? Then maybe it's the unit of Deathcopters goes. Let's have a quick think before we come out for the night. What if I don't think we want to drop we could drop Tank Busters, drop a unit of Tank Busters and the Big Mech with them. And then this would go down to 40. That gives us 255. That's a pretty decent amount. What Nasdrake and Meganobs is probably too expensive though. Yeah, because you don't get 3 Meganobs with him. Probably not worth it. You'd probably need the full big unit to be an ingress threat, but it is a pretty good ingress threat. Nasdrake does just slap. Maybe that's actually good. Maybe that's like actually what you want. And like, he gets the Shooter Boys buff, so you have him, he ignores cover as well. Maybe it's actually something. Maybe there is something here. Let's grab some Meganobs. I think I only have the big points of Meganobs, so let's just find out. Units, infantry. So 3 Meganobs is 110. How many points do I have left? I put in the points, 80. Well, shit. So maybe what if we drop this down to that, and then Meganobs we go for, we just write in 110. Yeah, shush. I won't let us. Lame. Just put in 10 there, and just 110 there. Then we hit 50 points, so then we could get another Gretchen unit. There we go. That actually kind of works out in a weird way to be kind of okay. In this way, we have a slightly less shooting, but we now have it's only a 4-man, but it is like a decent shooting. And sorry, I have a chair right next to me. I also have now I have an ingress, a rapid ingress threat that's a decent melee threat that can also heroic and do some decent damage. Nasdrake does do some absolute slamming damage himself. So let's see what they'll look like in TTS. Oh, I never changed. Apologies, guys. Quickly, before anything else, this is what the list looks like now. Yeah, so we got, we just swapped out our Deathcopters. Well, we dropped the Deathcopters down to 3. And we got rid of our Tank Busters and Big Mech. And then we got Nasdrake, 3 Meganobs, and we gained our 3rd Gretchen unit. Now, apologies for that, I'll swap back over to this screen. And so what happens here is this just goes way out, that goes out. But what we gain is a war boss and 3 Meganobs. And this just gives us a ingress threat because he gets Steep Strike. We still have the war boss to have riled up wherever we want, and then we can also have his one. They are the same rule, I believe. Let's just quickly check that. I believe that is the same rule. Both. I think it's the same named rule. What's it called? intimidation, intimidating motivation. Yeah, the exact same name rule. So you can't use it twice. So if you have it there, if you use it on Nasdrig's unit, you can't use it on the war boss. So maybe we then get rid of the war boss, and then we have some more points left over. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. What would we do with that points? Probably be second shock attack gun, and then we could kind of drop him for that. But then we don't have an early game rile upper if this guy's off the board until turn 2 or 3. So maybe we do just want him, and then he's just a bit of a beat stick and a bit of a screener. So actually, maybe we do keep him. He's just good enough on his own, potentially. Talked myself back into it. How good is that? Yeah, maybe this list is a bit more well-rounded for singles. Maybe for teams, you could go for the more aggressive all-in style, and you just don't need the melee. But I think this, if your opponent comes at you a bit too aggressively, being able to either have this unit somewhere that it can heroic or teleport around, I think is going to be like really important for stuff like that. Yeah, cool. Hey Julie, how's it going? Good to see you. Finally see you in one of the live streams. I was just about to sign off as well, so good you caught me before the end of the stream. Yeah, so that's this list. I think it actually. Oh, sorry. Another thing we need to add is actually we do gain another. So we actually have a really good trash package now, because also we have like the 3-man death copters, which is kind of like a nice trash piece. But we still have like a huge damage dealing portion of this list as well. So like, you kind of get the best of both worlds, where you kind of have good trash and a good access here. The other option is you just kind of get rid of all of this, or all of this, and you just go, you bring this back in, and you just go crazy damage. And you just don't care about anything else, and you play Purge. There's definitely like a build that way, I think, as well. But yeah, let's just go this one and this one. Hope you guys all enjoyed that. I enjoyed building some lists with you all. If you guys are interested in this, I'll probably be doing it again sometime either next week or yeah. I might be going live tomorrow. I need to find someone to play against to actually play some games. And it's going to be a bit rough until the actual codex comes out and everything gets updated onto TTS, because I don't really want to be playing with like the wrong rules with all my models, because it's very hard for my opponent to understand things, and the games can be kind of messy. So I kind of want to wait until we have everything out on TTS just to make it a bit cleaner for everyone. But if you really want to, I can maybe do another live stream tomorrow, going over some more lists, doing some more stuff. So comment on this video if it's not live anymore. And then if you want to see this again tomorrow, say what time zone you're in, and I'll try and maybe like work it at a different time than I did today. If you did miss this one and you couldn't make this time frame, maybe I could do like I'm New Zealand based, but I could do like maybe a late evening time or a very early morning time to kind of like suit some other people. So let me know any of those times that will suit you if you want another one of these. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next video. Enjoyed. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate everyone that commented and all that kind of good stuff. Bye-bye. Now there's that awkward time where I'm closing everything off and the